$25,000 in credit card debt at the age of 25. No emergency funds, nothing going towards retirement, no real plans, no thriving, just surviving. A lot of working credits clients can fit that description, but I'm not talking about them. Sadly, I'm speaking about myself. You see, like many households where I'm from, we didn't speak about money at the dinner table. It was taboo. There were hushed voices when it came time to speak about money, and disappointment and despair when things did not work out well. I was taught some of the basics, undoubtedly, but I was underprepared for the financial challenges I would face as an adult. My name is Mario Gutierrez, and with 15 plus years in the nonprofit sector, I've worked on the issue of financial precarity from several different angles. As a coach, I've personally worked with hundreds of participants. I worked as a trainer, capacity builder, embedding financial empowerment programs into different program service delivery models. Shout out to May Watson-Gross, the first leader I worked with on that. As a director, I oversaw the largest financial counseling outfit in New York City. And lastly, as a consultant, working with nonprofits throughout the nation to magnify their impact, several of which work on the issue at hand. I am truly delighted to be with all of you today to illustrate the real-world, day-to-day concerns and challenges we see as practitioners, the consequences of financial illiteracy, and the meaningful intervention of financial literacy counseling, education, and coaching. I am the director of Working Credit, a national nonprofit that helps people in any financial situation overcome the obstacles of good credit and reap the benefits that come with it. Ultimately, we envision an inclusive and equitable credit system in which everyone has the knowledge and tools they need to fulfill their financial dreams. Every year, we partner with thousands of participants across the country to work through financial challenges and improve the prospects of their lives. Over the next few minutes, I'll share 3 of such stories. We'll start with young adults. Financial literacy is critical for young adults because it meets them at that exact moment they begin making high-stake money decisions. Without structured guidance, many young people struggle to build savings, manage debt, which all leads to long-term financial stress. That's why it was so meaningful for Working Credit to work with Demetrius, a recent high school graduate starting his adult life without much guidance on money, credit, or savings. Like many people his age, Demetrius had big goals, but no real plan for getting there. Without guidance, young adults often learn about credit through trial and error. They start their adult lives plagued with high-interest credit, which can be devastating because compounding rates turn even small balances into long-term, hard-to-escape debt that drains income. The turning point for Demetrius arrived when he attended a working credit workshop that explained in plain language how the credit system worked and why it mattered. In one-on-one counseling, a coach helped him pull his credit report, decipher it, create a simple action plan focused on just a few action items. He opened a secure starter credit card to safely build his history, set up automatic payments, kept his balances low, and learned that on-time payments and low utilization are the 2 most powerful habits for a strong credit score. The results? Within months, Demetrius went from having little to no credit to building a solid, growing credit score that lenders and landlords took seriously. Demetrius shows that financial literacy and coaching, when it arrives early in our lives, a young adult can avoid years of costly mistakes and predatory products. Story number 2. Those early financial mistakes, like taking on too much high-interest credit card debt, not saving, or delaying retirement investing, can snowball into midlife money stress, limited choices, and even poorer health and well-being. That's what we saw with Marie, a single mom with a stable career, paying all her bills on time. On paper, it looked like she was doing everything right. But then, an unexpected collapse. A 6-week gap between paychecks from one job to the next, exposed as she was indeed living paycheck to paycheck. With little emergency savings available or a credit line as a cushion, it took only about 30 days for Marie to fall behind on rent and utilities. By the time she connected with Working Credit, she had about $80,000 in collection debt and a credit score in the low 500s. She felt embarrassed and underwater, which mirrors how many middle-aged adults feel when debt and credit problems pile up faster than they can respond. Leading with empathy, Marie and the Working Credit counselor built a personalized plan based on her actual life, income, debt, and goals. Working Credit helped her both tackle collections and at the same time open new, well-managed credit to rebuild her score. This shows a critical midlife literacy concept. Understanding how credit scores actually work can unlock safer and smarter strategies than the generic advice people might hear. The results: in about 18 months, Marie raised her score, paid or settled most of her collection, and secured a new credit line. Marie shows that even educated, hardworking adults can be one income shock away from financial crisis if they lack savings, credit literacy, and a plan. With the right information, coaching, and persistence, it's possible in midlife to dig out of deep collection, build credit, and move toward long-term goals like home ownership. Which brings us to our final story. For lower-income adults living on a fixed income, financial literacy is essential because even small mistakes quickly jeopardize their ability to cover basic needs. Working Credit worked with Rosa, a 68-year-old grandmother recently retired, living on Social Security and a small pension. She owned her condo, the car was paid off, she saw no reason to worry about credit. But over time, things started to crack. Her income dropped sharply when she retired, but her credit card balances did not. She had put a few emergency expenses on credit while she was working and expected to pay them down before retirement, but that did not happen. And now on a fixed income, the minimum payments were eating up a big chunk of her monthly check. Most concerning, Rosa also felt pulled by her family. Her adult son asked to borrow the card time and time again, and she co-signed a small loan for her granddaughter for school. This is a common occurrence for clients who are close to or in retirement. She did not realize that her credit score could affect things like insurance rates, access to safer credit cards in an emergency, or her options if she really ever needed to move. In counseling, someone helped Rosa connect the dots. She learned that keeping one or two balances, paying them on time in her name would actually help her stay independent longer. With support, she set up automatic payments for essentials, created a small debt payment plan that fit her fixed income, and hardest of all, set boundaries with her family about when and how she could help. Within a year, her balances were lower, her credit score had improved, and though she still lived on a tight budget, she felt less ashamed and, most importantly, believed that it was not too late to protect her future and her independence. So, to bring us to a close, an update: 800+ credit score, 5 months of emergency savings, 5 2-9s for the kids, 2 houses, 1 rental, hardly any consumer debt. Well on the way to a decent retirement, not surviving, thriving. Yes, Working Credit's clients can claim many of these victories, but again, I'm proudly talking about myself. After receiving some timely, sage advice, I was awakened to the urgency of growing my financial wellness and have not looked back since. We know it works. We've seen how timely interventions can change someone's trajectory in life, how they behave, how different decisions are made, and the outcomes they achieve with their money. Programs like Working Credit and the amazing work you all do show that when people receive clear education plus one-on-one support, lives are changed. I thank you for the opportunity to speak at this forum and look forward to the afternoon of insightful conversation and fellowship. Thank you.